What's going on? I was looking at the wrong monitor. What's up, everybody? How's it going? We're live. This is going to be the last stream before Christmas this weekend, and then New Year's is. Do we have one more stream before New Year's? 1 second. I don't know if there's one more before. Let's see. Yeah, we've got one more stream before New Year's. Okay, so not the last stream before the end of the year, but last stream before Christmas. We've got I think next week might be the last holiday music that we are going to have, and then we'll revert back to our standard music. But yeah, I'm excited. Today we're gonna be building the Prusa Mini. This is the semi-assembled version, and the only reason I went that route was the lead time was insane. I actually held off till Black Friday in hopes that they would offer free shipping, because shipping is like $50, which is pretty brutal. And of course it wasn't on sale at all, and the lead times instantly shot up. And so it was either get the semi-assembled or wait. I think the lead time right now is like over 2 months. So we got this. I don't exactly know how long it's going to take us to assemble it. I've seen everything from a couple of hours to 30 minutes. So I haven't actually looked into what goes into assembling this from the box. This is the second Prusa Mini I have. The first one I bought locally and it was already assembled, and then I completely tore it down and rebuilt it. So I'm at least familiar with the kind of workings of the Prusa Mini, so I don't think it'll be too difficult. Let's see, what's going on, everybody? Let's say hi to everyone. Do It 3D, CNC, Eggy, Lisa's in the chat, Steven is here, Thomas is here. What's going on, everyone? Man, how's everybody doing? I have had a pretty frustrating 48 hours of 3D printing, actually. I'm trying to build, it's an open source small laser engraver called the Engravinator, and it takes a bunch of, it's basically I think 20 or 30 extrusions, a bunch of printed parts, and so I've been attempting to print out a batch of parts twice now, and the first time was on the Ender 7, which you guys can't see, it's on the ground down here. And the Ender 7, we built it a couple weeks ago on live stream, and it has been not performing well. Basically, I spent a lot of time making sure, because the batch of parts I was trying to print was the entire bed pretty much. And so I took a lot of time watching the first layer, making sure all the corners were leveled. And then after the first or second layer, it seems like the bed isn't dropping enough. And so the nozzle's kind of plunging into the previous layer. Excuse me, and obviously, one, it's not making the parts look good, but two, since this is for things that are going to be having hardware attached to it, like dimensional accuracy is super important, and so that's been frustrating. I watched it for on and off for like an hour and a half, and then I came back like 8 hours later, and all the parts were bad or not usable, and then I also ran a smaller batch on the Prusa Mini, thinking that would work out, and it also had an issue. And so I think that when I rebuilt it, possibly that because it's a cantilever design, that the X carriage is maybe not perfectly squared with the Z-axis. And so after this, later on, I'm gonna take it back out, get a square, and loosen everything and see if I can make sure it's squared. Because what I'm thinking is possibly, if it's at too much of an angle, even with the ability of the mesh bed leveling, I think that maybe it's just too much of a slant that it can't actually compensate. I'm not exactly sure, but that's the only thing I can actually think of. So yeah, it's been a frustrating couple of prints. Let's see, I saw that for the kit. Yeah, 10 weeks, it's insane. What's up, DJ? How was my week? Week was good. It's been busy. I mean, really, that was my thing I wanted to get going. We're gonna be assembling that, I think, the Engravinator live on stream at some point, and so I was sad that the parts failed. And it's crazy too, because the parts only need to be PLA. It's not like I'm printing in something crazy, yet both the Ender 7 and then the batch on the Prusa Mini last night failed, so I'm just like, why? But yeah, other than that, everything is going good. Do It says, I've heard many issues are happening with the Ender 7. Yeah, the test print on it turned out okay. It's not over here either. There was like a couple of issues with extrusion on it, but overall it looked okay. I think the biggest issue was like the speeds they had sliced it at were just insane, so it compromised on quality. And I don't see, where's my phone? 1 second. I want to make sure there's nothing crazy. Nope, it's work stuff. I didn't see anything obviously wrong with the bed. Like the bed seems really stiff or rigid. So I posted it on Twitter earlier and a couple people chimed in. And so I need to check that the coupler on the motor is not loose. And then I need to make sure obviously the motor is tight. Because if you guys saw the stream, the extruder motor itself was actually, the whole extruder and the extruder motor was really loose. And so I don't know if this is a QC issue or if the box just got really banged up during travel. So I'm gonna check those two things, basically print a calibration cube. I know it'll look like crap, but it'll give me my starting point, and then do those changes, see if it makes any improvement, and then based off that, possibly rip out the lead screw and see if it's a bent lead screw. So we'll see. But yeah, the Ender 7, the Ender 7 so far is not performing like a printer that's $800 or whatever. I think it's 800, maybe 700, but still, like, it's not performing like this, you know, printer that I would like it to. So I'm still not completely, let's start over with the holiday stuff. I'm still not like completely ruling it out yet. You know, I'm gonna spend some time troubleshooting, but of course, like, it's gonna impact the review. But anyways, so let's get into this. So I've got, let me see here, let me move everything over. I'm gonna move chat to this window like this. That way I can see you guys. Cool, so the Prusa Mini is here. I don't know what I'll need as far as tools go. I wouldn't imagine anything other than some basic Allen wrenches, which we've got all of them right here. And yeah, I'm excited. It's so funny that, for some reason, oh, Barticus here, message, I don't know if you removed it or if the YouTube removed it, but if it removed it, it's funny because there's been bots popping in, basically typing in vun.rent, hide user on this channel. Wait. Oh, okay. I thought I accidentally deleted the wrong person's thing. I know, the bots are already here. Hey, G-Funny, what's going on? I totally brain farted on what I was gonna say. I think I was responding to Barticus. You were talking about the Ender 7 and the Z-axis issues with Creality machines. I do have, Creality is sending a Ender 3 S1. I am very curious to see how that goes. I know that, I think Brian Vines might have done a video on it. I haven't watched it yet. I usually try to avoid watching videos on printers that might be coming in because, like, I don't want that to influence how I feel about it already. Like, I want it to be a fresh experience, and just how it goes is, you know, what my experience is on it. So I haven't looked. Oh, Barticus removed it. I think I might have screwed up on the delay, so I apologize for that. Anyways, let's at least get this cracking. Let's get this open. I spend so much time talking and then we don't get to print. So let's see if we can at least get this thing to a point where we're printing and then we can hang out for a little bit. But yeah, I hope everyone's had a great week. Christmas is just a couple of days away, which is insane. Luckily my brother pre-planned and got our parents the gifts, and we were just splitting them. But I did have to go last night and run around to pick up some last minute items, and boy, was it crazy. But luckily, I don't know, I mean, I know a lot of people in, chat are not in the States, but here at least, luckily, the drive, and if you order something, just pull up and then say that you're here and they'll bring it out to you. I did that twice yesterday and it worked really well, so that was cool. I don't know, do you guys want a big top-down view, or maybe for the unboxing? For anyone that hasn't seen this, because I've never, like I said, this is my first Prusa from Prusa. The Prusa Mini I got previously was like one of the earlier Prusa Minis, and it was from a guy locally, so I've never gotten like the experience of opening one. And we do have a MK3S Plus coming, but it's been delayed somewhere in Europe for a week now. Like, they shipped it a week ago and it just says some kind of delay, and I've checked it like every day for updates, and there's been nothing, and so I stopped checking it for updates because every time I check and there's no update, I get a little bit sad. So, okay, so let's see. We've got a bunch of bubble wrap. Let me pop one. That's really loud. I don't care how old you are, popping bubble wrap is fun. Congratulations on getting the brand new original Prusa printer. Help, guides, drivers, store, info, bunch of QR codes. Did music stop again? Top down is actually just a C920, man. Yeah, so like this right here is just the C920, and luckily, normally, like when we were doing the Voron build, it's on a separate cart than this table, and so it was rough because this, like when I'm building on it, it vibrates. It's just really dangling up there. But when it's on a different cart than what I'm using, as long as you've got good lighting, it works decently. It's definitely not DSLR quality, but for the price comparison, it's, you know, it's better than nothing. I hope there's gummy bears. Is there gummy bears? Because I think there might be a little bag. Okay, so anyways, we've got this little congratulations thing. We've got the paper manual, which is so nice. Like, it's just so nice. Like, oh, and stickers too. So that's pretty cool. I don't care. Again, like, popping bubble wrap is fun and stickers are fun, okay? And if you don't agree, you're wrong. But yeah, there's a nice assembly manual that's just colored and everything's labeled nicely. There's also an online PDF. Or like the online thing's cool because online, if someone, like let's say there's a section on here that's kind of confusing, well, I cut myself already. People can comment on it. And so like if you get to step 32, you can see online, oh, there's 30 comments, and maybe someone's already asked the question that you have as well. So that's a cool thing. But I think we might try to go based off the booklet. I don't know. We'll see. And then this must be different language or no. So this is user manual. Turn the book over for the assembly manual. Flip the book over for the 3D printing handbook. Oh, wow. Okay. That's pretty cool. Yeah, it's just nice. I don't know. It feels like, you know, not that, yeah, it's nice. I like the booklet for sure. White balance is important. Yeah, I played around with the settings a little bit. It's looking better today than, it just depends on what's, like when we had the Ender 7 below, the black frame on it didn't really do too nicely with the camera, but because this is cardboard colored, it's looking pretty good. Yeah, it's definitely lighting, man. I can't, well actually I can show you. Check this out. So as far as lighting goes, we've got big LED panel, right? Like 100% light, big LED panel, and then LED panel. So like lighting is absolutely key. Absolutely key with these things. They just don't do good in low light. Okay, we've got our standard desktop power cable. We've got just a couple of strands of Prusa Mint, really small. There's Galaxy Black and Vanilla Ice. Man, the Galaxy Black looks pretty cool. I mean, just strands. I think you get a spool with the MK3. We've got some isopropyl alcohol. We've got a needle for the nozzle if needed. Oh yeah, definitely not the world's biggest bag of gummy bears, but I'll take it. I love me some gummy bears. It's actually probably, I would say this is either Erin's favorite candy or top 2. She gets either regular gummy bears or sour gummy bears all the time, which is a problem for me because I want to eat them all. We've got a bag of accessories, which just has not a lot of stuff, a couple screws. It says 2 olives, that can't be right. It looks like that's what they're calling these little, oh gosh, like the brass fittings that go into the Bowden coupler. Couple foam pads for the bottom. Let's see, hopefully the XL, man, I would be stoked if the XL came with a massive bag. We have 1 kilogram boxes of Haribo, oh my gosh. Almost all other printer companies coming from Prusa as far as manuals and instructions go. Ratrick has excellent instructions. Yeah, definitely. I would say, I'm going to be doing a video on probably the Prusa Mini, although it's it'll be more aimed towards Prusa Mini because that's what my primary experience will have been so far. But kind of going over some of the key differences I've seen in the last month using, or month and a half using that other Prusa Mini, because there's definitely some elements of the machine and what you're getting for the money that you can't see in just looking at specs. Because if you look at the specs, you're like, wow, this is a lot more expensive than an Ender 3. And yes, it is. But there's a lot of other things you're kind of getting that I think depending on what your goal is, might provide external value that it just isn't talked about a whole lot. Let's see, we've got, oh, that's cool. They use a printed adapter. So this is for the lubricant, for the LM8, I believe for the LM8 UU motion bearings, I believe, I'm pretty sure. We've got bearings for the spool holder, which honestly, I don't know if I'm going to use. There's another printed spool holder I saw, or that I printed for the other Prusa Mini that goes onto the frame that I tend to like a bit more. It takes up less footprint, but that's cool. Important, USB drive with firmware. Okay. Lisa says, I have a package that arrived at UPS in Syracuse on the 16th. Oh my gosh. Yeah, shipping is kind of a nightmare right now. I mean, it's to be expected, right, with the holidays and all, but it's still not fun. That'll be the same price as Prusa Mint though. Yes, with MK3 you get a spool of silver. Wouldn't pay that much for a printer. It's not that much asked for a big box of Haribo. Yeah, I will. We'll see. We'll see about that. It's kind of cool. I mean, again, it's small details, but it's got the open source hardware logo. I don't know if there's actually a set way you're supposed to open all this. We've got a official receipt. Looks like this is just a packing slip. So tester ID, production date. This was, wow, February 15th. So this is not a new, I'm assuming we'll probably have to update the firmware on it then. But yeah, basically just a checklist. Oh, that's cool. Also, you can see there's this is neat. I don't know how well you guys will be able to see this, but it's stuff like this that just is really cool. Let's see, side. And I haven't really seen this very much. So one, like you got details about, I don't know how well, again, sorry you can't see it. The C920 doesn't exactly have the best focusing, but you know, printer, testing protocol, serial number for it, board number, just different revisions about it. So it's got all the data right here, which I think is probably good to hold on to. You know, checking everything to make sure, I would assume it's the packing slip and that they didn't check it for, that this isn't saying that they checked it. Maybe they did check all, I don't know. I don't know exactly if this is just part of the packing slip or if this is saying they checked all of these different things, that the USB port's working, the filament sensor would be working, and Minda probe and all that. But if you go further down, there's a graph for your hot ends heating measurement graph to make sure that it's heating up correctly before they ship it out, as well as the heated bed. So it's stuff like this that I don't really see talked about all that much, which to me, like, that's valuable. It's like QC like that is worth extra, not having to go through the headache of, that's the wrong camera, you know, of getting stuff that's not working, hopefully because of this kind of extra check. So that's really cool. I wasn't expecting that, and I didn't know it came with a booklet manual that looked like that either. Let's see, so this is the LCD screen. This is, again, I don't know if there's a certain way I'm supposed to be opening this. This is, okay. It's a test document with the temp curves. Okay, the Prusa Mini MK3 are my favorite printers for that reason. If you had told me 4 years ago, I would have laughed, since you can achieve similar quality under 3, but Prusa brings much more. It's a test report to ensure all parts are working properly. Now I have 3 minis and 2 MK3Ss. Yeah, it's freaking awesome. I agree. And yeah, DJ, I completely agree too. Like, I also like tinkering, which is why, you know, like we've built the Vorons and I have a lot of the Creality machines. And I do think honestly that like most people that buy, let's say an Ender 3 and they just want to print PLA with it and have it work, they do typically work fairly well, and you can upgrade them. But again, it's different depending on what you want, but I just absolutely see the value in, wait, what is? Clean only, steel sheet mini textured, steel sheet mini PEI. Oh, I didn't realize I got a smooth sheet as well. That's cool. Huh. It's been about, I don't know, probably, when did I order this? Black Friday, so it's coming up on a month roughly ago that I ordered it, so I can't remember in the end which buttons I said yes to. All right, this slide, this does slide right off. Man, whoever designed their packaging, like, definite hats off. All my Crealities have 2 Z-axis now, especially my Ender 3s and my Ender 3. Yeah, I don't run, like I haven't actually done a dual Z-axis upgrade, believe it or not. Normally I feel like I've gotten it to, you know, tighten the eccentric nuts enough where there's not a whole lot of sag, at least not any that is affecting what I'm printing. But I do think, like, if you have the choice, certainly having dual Z-axis is going to be better. My biggest issue with dual Z-axis is them not being in alignment, and so I would say either having a automatic probe where you can trim the gantry to make sure it's squared, or an alignment, or having it where the two lead screws are attached via belt, so that way once you get it, you know, once you get it leveled or equal on both sides, then it can't come apart from each other. Because, like, after dealing with the Surmoon from Creality, I just don't want to deal with sagging, like not having the lead screws connected, because it was such a pain. This must be power supply. Yeah, I think so, maybe. All right, let's take. Yeah, it's a lot more assembled than I had thought. Let's put this off on the chair for a second and grab this. I think that's everything once I take the bed out. And then this one, the bed has injection molded plastic, unlike the one I have. I also moved over our marble slab just so that way it's built on a flat surface. A tiny bit of wobble. I just want my printers to work. Yeah, I get that, Lisa. Sometimes I don't mind if there's like something small going on with the printer. I'm like, ah, it's okay. But like when I'm actually working on a project that I want to get done for, you know, whether it's something for the channel or, you know, just a project, it's super frustrating. Like, I was really disappointed when I found out after 12 hours that the Ender 7 did not complete the job correctly. 1 second, guys. Can clean the rest up later. I just want a little bit of space in my already small space. Let's see. The short protection works damn well. Yeah, the one thing I am going to do is to both of the minis. So once we get this assembled and printing correctly, I'm going to keep it out because I'm going to design the Prusa. So I designed a, gosh, I'm brain farting right now, an Octoprint or a Raspberry Pi Zero or 2W mount. Let's see, let's go. Is this the cam I want? Yeah. So I designed maybe a couple months ago a little Pi Zero or Pi 2.0 case that's like snap fit, and it was meant for 2040 extrusions, I believe was how I designed it, 2040. Yeah. And I designed another one that was for 2020s, but it should work for these 3030s. And so I'm going to be installing Pi Zero 2Ws, and I'm going to be installing, I need to design a little case for the butt connectors that I have, and then I'm going to wire them into here. So that way they're both powered by Octoprint and they're powered from the machine itself versus having to run separate power cables. I normally don't mind having to run separate power cables directly to the Pis, but because for mobility, when I move printers around so much, it's just nice having it kind of all integrated into the machine. So yeah, let's go ahead then. I'm trying to think of what's going to be what's gonna be the best camera angle? I guess we could just do the front camera angle for now, like this, and build. Have you seen the Prusa Mini belt bed on? I think I have seen the belt bed where he basically added, if it's the one I'm thinking of, he also powers the Pi directly, I think using a butt connector, and then I think he's using a butt connector. But yeah, his bed has like a motor off to the side here, and then I think it's like maybe a PEI film, and so when the Mini's done printing, the bed ejects the part and then it prints again. So it's pretty cool. But remind yourself to switch the Pi off normally before switching the PSU off. That's right, DJ. You were here during the Voron video. The Pi 2.0 will plug right into the Prusa mainboard. Yeah, on the, it won't do it on the buddy board, which is this one, but on the, oh gosh, why am I brain farting? On the, someone in chat, multiple people in chat must know, what is the main board on the Rambo? It's the Rambo mini board that's on the Prusa MK3S. That one has a slot for it, so that one will be really easy. Okay, let me see here in the manual. Important, there are two versions of the original Prusa Mini. Before you continue, select your semi-assembled or kit version. Okay, semi-assembled. Okay, so if you have the kit version, they tell you to go online. If you have the semi-assembled version, which is what we have, then we can use this. So it says, there are more hardware revisions of the XZ axis. Please check the following photos to ensure the appropriately assembled procedure. Okay, so on one of them, wait, what am I missing? Oh, so one of them has the opening on the left. Continue using this assembly guide. No, this looks right, I think. Green. The XZ axis has the opening on the right. Continue using this assembly guide. The photo looks right to me. There's a little hole right here, so hopefully this is right. For this manual, please prepare a 2.5mm Allen key. We've got a mini bag of Haribo bears. We've got only the Allen key is required for assembly. Other tools will be used for maintenance of the printer. See the enclosed handbook. Yada yada, no soldering or crimping. Keep the bag with Haribo bears closed for now and hide it. Unattended bags tend to mysteriously disappear. That's funny. Okay, most of the labels are scaled 1:1 and can be used to identify the most parts. For identification, you can download Lost in the Instructions. Okay, XZ axis part preparation. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let me move the things out of the way that are just gonna confuse you right now. So power supply can go over here. We don't need beds. We don't need IPA. Don't need you. Don't need you. We don't need the screen right this second. Maybe it is, I don't know what's gonna be more fun for you guys. Overhead, maybe? We can switch back and forth, I guess. Let's see, we don't need this right now. Let's see. Tom said, are you going to run Octoprint on it or wait for the long ago promised Wi-Fi features when adding the ESP on the board? All you can do now is view status. Yeah, I'm gonna actually just full-blown run Octoprint. I do feel like they're probably getting closer with that, primarily because I know that I've seen some like people beta testing Prusa Connect, I think is what you're talking about, maybe, like the full version for farm management, but I'm going to do Octoprint because I like Octoprint a lot, and I also want to run it with OctoFarm. I plan on making a video on OctoFarm to manage all the things, and I like that OctoFarm, at least in their roadmap, they say they're going to implement Clipper as well. So I mean, we'll see. I might check out like when it actually does come out, the Prusa sort of farm management, but the ability to have eventually, you know, Clipper as well, all within one interface for managing all the printers, I really like that. So we'll see. But yeah, starting off with, it'll be full-blown Clipper for sure. I'm full-blown Octoprint, not Clipper. Okay, so gummy bears we also don't need right this second, although they sound pretty delicious. Yeah, there is like little to no hardware in here. All right, and then they've got a sticker on the bag, which they say is pretty damn close to scale. This says accessories, mini V2, and this says spares. So I'm assuming that we need, this is one M3 by 40, which is only one of them, one M3 by 20, and one M3 by 12. So basically one of each that's in here. So one of you, we'll just take them all out, I guess. One of you and one of you. That's cool, there's a bunch of spares. Or not a bunch of spares, but there are spares. Okay, note the second M3 by 20 screw in the package will be used later on. The list continues in the next step. For the following step, please prepare. So we need the base and we need the sticky pads. For the following foam, yada yada, foam pad preparation, it wants us to pop out all of the foam pads, which we will do. Oops. If you watch Aurora Tech's channel when she builds the MK3S, she is putting the printer together and her brother who runs the camera walks around and eats all the gummy bears. That's jacked up. Okay, so we've got all those out. It says gently push the pads out of the block. You will need 5 for the following steps. Well, I took out 6. Okay, so flip over the bed. Oh. Is there little grooves for them? No, doesn't look like it. Let's see. Peel the protective foam, be careful, there's glue. Lay on the side and then glue the first foam pad into the groove on the bottom side of the electronics box. Oh, okay. Yeah, I know where that one is. I'm going to sort of, that works. Maybe I should have peeled this first. Yay. Maybe put a little bit of pressure. Thank you, Lisa. Yeah, if you have not, please hit the like button. I think last week we crossed 500, and I think today we're at 530, so that's super awesome. Thank you, thank everyone. Thank you all. Okay, that's probably enough. I don't think I need to crush it. Okay. So that is good, and then the rest need to go on the bottom of the bed, but rotate the y-axis so the heated bed is facing down. Put a soft pad or cloth underneath it to prevent scratches. Well, at least the marble's smooth. Glue 4 foam pads onto the end of the frame's aluminum extrusions like in the picture. Mind the correct orientation. So it wants it to be on the aluminum and not on the printed part, which I guess makes sense in case you ever want to, right? Yeah, in case you ever need to take off the injection molded parts. It's weird seeing these injection molded. Let's see, let's go a little side cam. Oop, there we go. Ooh, the, let me see if I can adjust. Side cam. Configure video. So I think we need to adjust our exposure here. Oh, exposure's on automatic, why? Ooh, that's kind of, is that better or too dark? That kind of feels better to me, but maybe I'm, oh wait, no, 6 is what I wanted. Yeah, that's better than what it was on, which it was on 5. Yeah, let's do 6, and then turn off autofocus because that looks terrible. Cool. You ordered 2 of the XLs? Thomas? I did pre-order an XL. I just want to make sure I'm doing this correctly because these are like a one and done. And the photo on this isn't great. Yeah, it just goes kind of over the extrusion. I think we have a package coming. I guess they don't have to be perfect, right? It's gonna be on the bottom. Yeah, FedEx is here. I'd be super jazzed if it was the Prusa after we were just talking about it. Yeah, I ordered, no, it's upstairs. I did order the XL, oops, with 2 extruders. And depending on what is going on in life, may go with more, or I might just start with 2. I'm just really curious to see like there's so much I think that I can cover with that printer and that I'm curious on experimenting with. So that's kind of like my reason for getting it. And I've never ordered, like, I don't know that I've ever, other than the Ender 3, I don't know that I've actually gotten a pre-order like that. So this is a big difference from the Ender 3. Hey, DC. What's going on, buddy? Happy almost Christmas. It's okay. I ranted a little bit about this, my frustrating printing experience the last day or 2 here. I've been trying to print out a bunch of parts for this open source laser engraver, and both the Ender 7 has been acting a fool, which I don't want to get back into right now. But the and the Prusa Mini that I rebuilt, I think that the XZ, no, yeah, I think that the XZ isn't squared to the Y-axis, and so I think I need to take it apart. It's causing problems. Okay, so that is that. Let's go back to, did it free? Whoa. Oh, interesting. 1 second, guys. There we go. Yeah, they're a little pricey, but it's a business investment. What is it that you do? Because I know you said you had 3 Prusa Minis and 2 Mark IIIs, Thomas. Is it a like print service or prototyping type thing that you do, or? Okay, so this says opening the box with electronics. Make sure the Z-axis is in the upper position. If not, using your fingers, turn the lead screw and move the Z-axis up. We're already good. Release and remove the M3 screw on the box with electronics. Whenever I get to, like, if I could have this set up, but like maybe a 3rd cart and have it like like 1 super cart is what I want. DC knows how much I love carts. If it makes you feel any better, my Ender 6 is still a POS, even with all my mods. Oh no, I'm sorry to hear that. It doesn't make me feel better. I don't want your experience to be bad. I want all the printers to be good, which I know can't happen, but okay. So we're gonna open up electronics. I think this is my M3. Ah. Perfect. Hey, that's not nice. No, you got Delilah upset. You're okay, go relax. Hey, go relax, Bubba, you're okay. Yeah, I know, tough guy. Dude, hey, what did I just say? No, there's nobody there. Oh my gosh. You guys remember last stream? If you were here last stream, I sell accessory. Oh my gosh, Thomas. That's hilarious. I didn't connect the dots. That is hilarious. You are AKA Cartman. Yeah, oh my gosh. Yeah, Thomas sent out, so I had posted my Prusa Mini conversion that I did, and, oh, maybe there was Amazon outside. And I had purchased a sock for it because I like having the silicone socks. That's like one of my biggest gripes of this. And Thomas reached out saying that I needed to get a black sock to match the colors I had done. And so he sent, I think, a couple of socks in the mail for the original Prusa that I rebuilt, and then this one will get one as well. So thank you very much. I apologize. If you had the same, I think, logo or icon for your YouTube, I would have connected the dots. Okay, so I got this open. Yeah, if you guys remember last week though, Monkey was freaking out, and yesterday the Prusa Mini that I rebuilt was squeaking. I think the Y-axis needs a little bit more oil or lube on it, because when I cleaned off the rails, like, I did wipe them down. I did add a little bit more, but he was freaking out from the squeaking sound of the motor. I think we're done with Christmas music for the day. Let's do... Delilah's still in the bedroom barking. Okay, this is a little more epic. Okay. It would probably be easier if I just pulled this up on the screen, but okay, remove the printed cable cover, done. Lift electronics cover before removing it completely, pull it forward, we did, keep the box open. Okay, for this next step, prepare the LCD cable. Flat gate cable, take the LCD cable and push it through the hole in the box with all electronics. Make sure the tooth in the connector is facing up. Connect LCD to the board, mind the orientation of the connector. There's a notch on one side. Okay. Do I want you to just stand for me for a second? No, that's not happening. I think I'm gonna lay it back down. Ooh. Okay. I saw somebody post on Twitter earlier that Fusion basically completely nerfed their free hobbyist license. Is there something new that happened in the last couple days that I missed, or maybe he was referring to him just finding out that they've changed stuff a while ago? Because I want to do more CAD work, and I'm thinking about not doing Fusion. I'm thinking about doing Shaper because I have an iPad and I love being able to just 3D model on the go. And their Mac version got released and their Windows version's in beta, so being able to like 3D model on just about anything is awesome. But yeah, I'm wondering if something happened with Fusion that I'm not aware of recently. I mean, it seemed like it was kind of the way they were going, was trying to sort of get rid of their free licensing. All right, so they are saying that the notch should be on the top, so this is definitely the one. This is a tricky, it's kind of a tricky angle. Come on, baby. There we go. It's definitely a tight... I might have to take it off camera for a sec, guys, just because I... as much as I want to show you what's happening, I also want to actually do the thing. It's a tight fit. Come on, cable. Why are you gonna do this? There we go. Yeah, it's kind of an awkward angle. Fusion still works for me, but I renewed in October. Okay, so you're paying for it then. I think it's just him finding out a little later. Gotcha. Yeah, it's probably what it is. I didn't see anyone reply to him yet, so it just crossed my mind right now. Let's see, make sure to the connector, make sure the cable fold in the connector is facing up. Cable fold in the connector? What fold? Okay. Connect the LCD connector, mind the orientation. There's a notch on one side. Okay, I think we're good on that. Important, read the following lines carefully. You need to align all three silver M3. Oh, okay, so we're gonna connect it now to the frame. Let's see, let's go back to overhead. Nope. Maybe? Let's go to unboxed cam. There's just too many camera options. I don't even know what I want. Okay, okay, there are a total of 3 M3 NE nuts in the extrusions. The first, the longest. and on the right will be used to connect both parts to the M3x40. The second longest will be used to connect joint parts using the M320, and the third is located on the top, not visible. Instructions on this will be provided later. Do not insert any of these screws at this time. Wait for the instructions in the following step. The second photo shows the inner side of the XY assembly, which will be in direct contact with the aluminum extrusion and the silver. Make sure the first nut fits inside the clamp. Make sure. So take a look at the small hole in the bottom edge. Okay. So one thing I will say, which is probably part of the reason why I initially started making videos, is that it's a lot easier to explain certain things with a video and pointing than text and pictures. Like, I get that, don't get me wrong, like this is still great compared to the normal, but it's just sometimes the way you write things down in text format doesn't exactly translate nearly as well. So let's see, locate the Y-axis motor cable. It kind of, yeah, some of it's a little bit interesting, kind of like foreshadows you on what's coming, but then it's like, okay, well, now that you know that, great, now let's do this other thing. Okay, so what is this saying? This says, locate the Y-axis motor placed in the extrusions and pull it out carefully. It was kind of why I started making videos initially, was because a lot of the things I was doing, well, back then it was video game modding, it was all forum stuff. So it was like me digging in forums and reading through all these complex threads of back and forth and trying to finally figuring it out. And I was like, I'm gonna make a video on this. Like, there's gotta be a better way. So it just reminds me of that. Locate the Y, okay, pull out, carefully take the rubber band off of the cable, guide the cable below the extrusion and out. Okay, take cable out. Oh wow, they really had it packed. There is no rubber band on this, so I will not be taking off the rubber band that does not exist. And then it says to basically flip this guy over, pull bed all the way back. Why is this? Oh, it's because I put it on that. Pull bed all the way back. And then cable needs to come out right here. Easy. I ended up paying for the shaper. Oh, nice. Yeah, I was so close to pulling the trigger on buying the subscription again. I did only 1 month, the first month that I used it, and I think it's like 30 bucks a month for their subscription, or 20 bucks a month if you pay a year at a time. But it just was kind of like, oof, do I want to commit to a full year? But I think I am going to, just because if it's what I'm going to be using, and I think technically if I'm using Fusion 360 and I'm using some of the stuff I make in a YouTube video, then technically I do need to like have the paid license anyway. So it ends up not being, I think it ends up being right around the same as the lowest tier paid version of Fusion. So I think I might just pay for a year of it. Hey BBs. How does a shaper compare? I was interested in Fusion because of the cam. Yeah, so Fusion has some definite perks to it. The main perks I can think of from my use over the years is the timeline is really powerful. Being able to just click on something you changed 8 steps ago and modifying a parameter and having it update the rest of it is great. There's not a way to do that in Shaper. It's kind of like once you move on from a step, you'd actually have to like reverse modify it instead of being able to just edit it. And Fusion also has a lot more things as far as what you described, cam and all that functionality. But the Shaper is so easy to use and it's super intuitive with, again, I've only used the iPad Pro version of it, or the iPad version. It's amazing, but it's just so easy to just model things. And most of what I'm modeling is not insanely complex, even if it is a functional thing. Like I don't necessarily need all the extra tools in Fusion. So I don't know, I wouldn't say it's better than Fusion. It's very different than Fusion. Let's see, the online instructions where they constantly make small changes. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm taking my sweet time on this, aren't I? Okay, so cable's out. Protecting the LCD cable. In order to protect the cable, please follow the instructions. It wants me to wrap the cable and then tuck it. Okay. I actually did this the other day when I was using the online instructions for like the complete rebuild. It's basically just wrap it and tuck it. It doesn't really, maybe like that. I don't know if that's a necessary step, but we'll do it. In order to protect, carefully lay it. Now tilt the axis back, better access inside the hand, making a loop under the power button. Cool. Move the Z-axis closer to the Y-axis so that the Y-axis motor cable reaches the electronics. Guide the Y-axis motor through the hole in the electronics. Do not connect the cable electronics yet. We'll connect it later. Push both parts together and try fitting the clamp directly onto the... okay, cool. So there's these guys inside here that we're gonna push forward, and then it wants us to grab this. Am I backwards? Why does it feel like I've inverted this somehow? No, this is right. This is the back. But where does the... Oh, so the motor cable should go inside. Oh, there we go. There's a hole. There is a hole right here that I did not see, that this cable will go right inside, hopefully. Maybe. Why would it be simple? Oh, there we go. Okay. It's a tight fit, but it does definitely fit through. Okay, cool. My motor cable definitely popped out. Let's tuck it back in. And then let's pull this cable in a bit more. Okay, so it wants us to try to align the booklet, man. Okay, move them, push both parts together, use the M340 screw. Okay. So I think the easiest way to align them probably is if I take the M4 or M3, let me see, if I take this, I just hit the camera on my head, take this guy, put that in there, and then grab this. If I push the screw all the way through, hopefully I can see. There we go. Yeah, I got one aligned. Okay, so that is in. Push both parts together, use M3, don't tighten the screw fully yet. Take the second one all the way, take the second from the left and move it all the way to the right. Don't tighten. Okay, cool. So, wait, that was the M3x20, right? Yep. All right, so then, see if I can let you guys see this. Basically just going to attempt to get this guy aligned, but let's first push this screw through. This is really intense. It's almost like dubsteppy a little bit. Cool, they're both aligned. They're both pretty loose though, because we're gonna wanna, I think, slide everything to the back in a second here. Okay, so that looks good. Take the second, we did that, do not tighten. Now take the M3 any nut in the upper part of the extrusion and slide it under the steel plate. And then use the M3x12. Okay, so then there's one up top. Okay. No, it is just, damn it. It's just my luck. I dropped it. Do I have a magnet? feel like I have a magnet somewhere where... I might be able to just get it. Yes. Okay. Hold on to the screw so it doesn't fall into the extrusion. Okay, they are all in, super loose now. Assembling my first foreign test print just finished. Now I'm gonna add the panels. Nice. How'd your first print go? Oh, sick. And you updated your. Now I recognize you. Okay. So don't tighten. Yeah. So I think that. So this manual is not a bad manual at all. I don't want to make it seem like that. I think that the issue is that this manual sort of assumes that maybe you've never assembled a printer before, which is probably a safe assumption. Like a lot of people do get Prusas for their first printer. So it makes sense, but for someone that's actually built something, man, like they really take you through a lot of, they take you through a lot of extra things that are kind of like, yeah, I don't know if I need to know that. Okay, in this step, you'll move the entire XY axis. Avoid grinding it against the aluminum extrusion, or you might scratch it, leave a small gap. Rotate the back of the printer towards you. Push the heated bed all the way to the front, like so. Let's do a top view now. All right. Hold the Y-axis assembly. Move the XZ back. There's a small notch which indicates the correct mutual position of both parts. All right. I just did this the other day, so we're gonna have it. Cool. That should be where we want it. Once the parts are aligned, tighten all the screws. First the M3x12, second the M3x40, and third the M. Okay. So first we want to tighten this one on top. Just make sure everything is. Next, we're gonna tighten the longer one. I can't tell if I'm actually grabbing the screw. I think I am. Yeah, I am. Fusion was very intimidating at first. I've used it a lot now, watching a ton of videos. Yeah, so Fusion, the fantastic thing about Fusion, because I've recommended Fusion to nearly everyone I've talked to over the years up until, I guess, kind of recently. And the wonderful thing about it is that there is a ridiculous amount of content on it, like training content and stuff like that. So if you don't know how to 3D model, there's a lot of videos that'll take you from the bare bone basics all the way to like 3D modeling like a champ. So while with Shaper, there's not nearly as much content on it. However, the company itself puts out nearly a weekly video. So they are cranking out really good content on how to use it and the different features, and like they'll take you through assembling, a certain model. So they do have really good videos. But yeah, Fusion has a massive amount of community created videos that are absolutely just amazing. Yeah, I am gonna build a clone mini. So actually all of the parts I put on the non-clone mini were intended to be for the clone, and I just got antsy when this showed up and the Super Pinda, and so I decided I'm gonna install the Super Pinda and completely swap out all the parts, which ended up being a huge, like way more work than I thought. But yeah, I need to reprint all the parts again for Prusa Mini and then order the clone from Fabrico. So it's slightly gotten pushed back because of just other things. Like I have a printer we're unboxing for next week's stream that should be pretty cool. It's a new printer from Voxelab that is kind of like their direct competitor to the Ender 3S1. And if I understand correctly, I believe it has a powder coated PEI flex plate, direct drive extruder, and all metal hot end out of the box. And they told me that MSRP was gonna be around 200 bucks, which I'll believe it when I see it. So I'm really excited to unbox that next week. But yeah, we definitely are. Oh man, bot alert. I need to mod a few people. I don't know how let me see, like. I'll figure it out. But yeah, I definitely think that I could use a couple moderators in chat because of the fact that the bots seem to come every stream, which is so odd to me that YouTube hasn't figured out something as simple as that. I think Iggy said you're taking off. Have a great night, man. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll keep my fingers crossed that why can't I? The Howlet 1. I'll keep my fingers crossed that the Howlet 1 does indeed go back on sale, so you can get it. Fusion is based on 2D sketches, which you extrude into 3D objects. The trick is learning how to use the construction line, points, axes, and planes to assist your sketches and extrusions. Yeah. It's way different. There's some videos or I would say that generally speaking, the way that Fusion model stuff is superior to Shaper, but there are things about Shaper that Fusion doesn't have. Like if Fusion had a way to use it, like if created an app version, I would be blown away. But like the ability to just go anywhere and model things on the go, like I get you can have a laptop, but like it just, there's something really awesome about it to me. And again, it's much simpler to pick up and get running with, but you can still do so much with it as well. So I don't know, it's just, hey, 75's here. Okay, so we tightened everything. Arrange the gummy bears in a similar pattern in the picture. Eat the upper row. Sick, all right. Let's do the gummy bears. I'm not gonna argue. Hopefully the bed's not super dirty. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Wait, did mine have an extra gummy bear? Wait, no, mine's totally missing. Mine's missing gummy bears, man. At least according to the photo, there's supposed to be 10. All right, well, we'll eat the top row and I'll leave 1. Yum. Okay. LCD, room 3x20. Tilt the machine on its side. Wait, how are you gonna tilt the machine on its side with gummy bears on it? I don't know if they thought that, okay, we're gonna move the gummy bears. Well, can't you just mod SMB by clicking on the 3 dots behind a name? Wait, can't you just mod SMB by clicking on 3 dots on a name? Otherwise, it's... Wait, do you mean blocking people? I can definitely block/ban people. Send the printer back. Wait, I spilled gummy? Is that what you're saying? I don't know what you're saying. Okay, anyways. So it says to grab the screen, grab the screw that we have, tilt the screen, and connect the parts together. Which I will say that on the Prusa Mini, the other one that I have, I could not get this to connect no matter what I did. Granted, again, this is an injection molded part and it's way different. But I ended up using a heat insert on the other one that I rebuilt, so that way the screw had something to bite onto. Yeah, this is way tighter. I don't know if it was just the tolerances. I printed out this part out because again, this one is injection molded while the one I had was printed from their GitHub, I want to say. But yeah, there was no tension on the screw. It went all the way into the aluminum, so I ended up adding a, yeah, this is way tighter. Oh, I think what you think are gummies, or maybe, I don't know. I removed a bunch of PVA earlier, so there's like chunks of PVA in the living room. Why is this? Let me just confirm I didn't screw up, because that was an M3 by 20. I know that's right. Turn over the Allen key and use the shorter side. Carefully remove the free end of the LCD cable. Okay, cool. Make sure I didn't screw something up. Because it is getting difficult to turn. But it looks like, or it sounds like, that is by design. Holy shit. Oh. I still think we probably need a little bit more, a couple more turns. This is a tight. Yeah, that seems about right. One last turn for good luck. Or one last partial turn. All right, that's good. That's crazy. That was a way different experience than, they also changed the linking mechanism. Yeah, it was, the experience on the printed part that I did was way different than that. So yeah, I can clearly see why you don't. But yeah, with mine, I basically put the screw in, it went through the printed part and was just completely loose. And so I just took a brass insert in my soldering iron, put it into that front part, and then I was able to tighten it to where I wanted it. So it had enough tension that, you know, it wasn't loose, but not too much where I couldn't move it at all. So it's great. Now I had a spool holder, got the E-steps tweaked, and it prints beautiful. Oh, the King Room. Yeah, I think you asked me about that or talked about it in a previous stream, Chris. I've seen quite a bit about that. It'd be interesting to test that out. Okay, so first, place the LCD, and use M3 to connect parts together. Carefully remove the free end of the LCD cable from the box. Okay. Connect the cable to the board on the LCD. Mind the correct orientation. Okay. Like so. Insert the socket in the socket on the board. Okay, we did that. Gently insert the extrusion cable into the aluminum extrusion. Use some slack outside near the LCD screen so you can tilt it later on. Yeah, I did not do that on the other one. And I tried tilting it last night. Wait, this cable. I tried tilting it last night and did not have a good time. the plug popped out. Get in. That's probably okay. Just a tiny bit of slack. Yeah, that's probably good. Oh, you guys were looking at my big head the whole time. Sorry about that. I would have, that probably would have been a much better view of what I was doing. I was just tucking this guy in and trying to leave a little bit right here. There's not a whole lot of slack, but I didn't really have a whole lot to work with, so. Okay, so connect the Y-axis motor. Let's tilt. I don't think we need it on its side anymore. Y-axis motor is right here, and it needs to go like this, I think. Cool, nice. Snaps in place. That looks good. Create a loop with the rest of the cable, like in the picture. Oof, it is tough to see the loop in the picture. It looks like, I don't know, we'll just tuck it in this corner. That's my attempt at a loop. It'll be okay. Okay. I think we're getting close. Connecting the heat bed cable. That's a good point. Where that is one thing that slightly can. No, so the heat bed cable does go. Take the cable bundle from the heated bed and guide it into the box from the top. There's no dedicated hole. Okay. Thermistor in heated bed. that tripped me out when I was rebuilding it. I thought that because there was holes for everything else, that they would have definitely, let's do that thermistor first. I thought they would have definitely had a hole to feed the bed in from, but it just goes through the top. Okay, so you must go like that based off of what I'm seeing. Or am I wrong? Nope, I'm wrong. That is how you go. Cool. And then you go in like that. And you are in. Cool. Okay. Gently push the cables into the box and position the wrap near the top left. Okay. Kind of a lot of slack here. I guess it's not too bad. I'm gonna be opening it up shortly anyway, again, to grab the 24 volts from the power terminal for the butt connector for the Pi, but for now we'll do it as is. Okay, so we don't have the filament runout sensor. The reason why I didn't do that, the other one I did came with it, or the one I got came with it. The reason why I didn't do it was when I looked online, it looked like that you couldn't use it with Octoprint. Yeah. So I think if I'm gonna do a filament runout sensor, I think that I'm going to probably wire it directly to the Pi, but I don't know that I'm gonna do it. I've never really been big on runout sensors, to be perfectly honest with you. Unless you're doing a massive print, then I could see it, but otherwise, like, they don't detect jams, and usually I know if I'm doing a big print that I've got enough filament, or I monitor it, so it's not that big of a deal to me. Let's go back to this camera. Okay, so we're done with filament sensor, covering electronics. Okay. You know what, where did the, oh, cool. So let's go like this. And then I think the bed cables, damn it. The bed cables are pink. Okay, so the bed cables need to go out the inside right there. And then you go out there. Yeah, looks good. Now tighten the screw cover. Cool. All right. Oh, the screw fell out. Wait, that doesn't seem right. Oh, yeah, nope, that's absolutely right. I'm just not thinking clearly here. I think. Side cam again, I guess. Yeah, you guys can't really see it anyway. Sweet. All right. I think let's see, now tighten the second cover. We did. Check the cables are not pinched. They appear to be fine. We will certainly find out if it's pinched when we power it on and run the self-test. Take a quick break and eat another row of gummy bears. All right, I don't mind if I do. Spool holder. I'm just gonna use the tush spool holder I have for now, so we don't need that. Oh wow, okay. So yeah, we're done. Cool, okay. So we are going to I don't know why I thought there was a little bit more. Film has been removed. ASMR, film removal. Place the mini sheet on the bed. What do we want to do? So I've only used the powder coated bed for the mini. Let's do steel sheet mini textured. Let's just do smooth. I haven't used a Prusa smooth bed. I typically lean more towards textured, but since we got it, let's give it a go. Cool. I don't want to touch it too much. Check the so anyone that uses smooth PEI, I don't actually know. Is there anything I need to do to prep it? Like I know I've seen people that will lightly scuff it, which I'm not going to do yet at least, but do you guys recommend I wipe it down with the alcohol pad that came with it, or just give it a go and see how it goes? I'm cool with just not, like, with just leaving it as is and seeing, but I'm just wondering if anyone else here that has one of these with a smooth bed, if they typically wipe it down first with IPA. It was covered, so I'd imagine there wasn't, a lot of dust and debris that's got on it. It looks, clean. IPA. Okay, cool. I'll wipe it down with one of the pads then. Let's see. Where is it? Isopropyl alcohol wipe. Thomas says just give it a go. Inappropriate says IPA. We'll wipe it down. Yeah, we'll wipe it down. I can't see it hurting it. Out of the box is always clean for me. Okay, all right, well, I did open the IPA. Damn it. We'll wipe it down. I already opened it. Just a quick wipe down. That is a really wet wipe. I'm like, do I take a dry towel now and wipe it down? Yeah, I definitely will not print PTG on smooth. I think, again, like, I'll primarily be using the powder coated just because that's what I have used and really like using. And the only reason I wanted smooth was just to kind of have it. And also, if there's ever a time where I want a specific look where the bottom just needs to be smooth, I wanted to have it. Are my spacers exactly 9mm? I don't know. Actually, I'm sorry. I think I saw your comment the other day and I thought about it and didn't know the answer. I don't know. I don't have any spares, and the ones on the bed, or I'm sorry, the ones on the motion system, I wouldn't be able to check without completely disassembling. So I'm not entirely sure. I never fully measured them. I just saw that they were, the same, and that was it. Okay, let's go ahead and plug this in. Yeah, sorry, BB. I don't know why I'm saying BB. I'm just calling you B. Sounds like I'm calling you baby. Yeah, sorry, B. I don't actually know offhand. I think you commented on a video, and I didn't respond because I actually didn't know, and I don't have the 1 or 2 spares that I had. All right, let's go ahead and plug this in. Was there any zip ties I need to remove? It doesn't look like it. You are done. trying to think if I should overlay. One second, let me overlay input audio. Let's see. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Top view, mobile Sony. All right, I'm gonna copy this over to here. Wait, did that not work? Oh. Nope, one more time, guys. Sorry. I'm going to copy. Webcam, Sony unboxed, I can. There we go, cool. It's weird, everything outside. Yes, the Dragonfly did arrive, and so next week's video is going to be on installing. Microswiss released a new extruder. It's a Bowden extruder, so they are releasing a new direct drive. They teased it a while back, but I don't have an ETA on it, and but this it's an install video on this guy. There we go. And so in that. Can you hear me now? Yep. I'm back. I clicked a button. Let me know that you guys can hear me, but it looks like I clicked a button. Yes, I did receive the Dragonfly, and it's going to be going on. I'll wait to, let me know if you guys can hear me. It should be back. And if it's not, then I don't know what to do and I'm sad. Okay, cool. Yeah, so Microswiss is releasing, or they did release a new extruder that is a Bowden, simple Bowden upgrade that's dual hardened gear. And so this week's video is just an install guide on it, but in that video I mentioned I'm going to be installing a hot end on the Ender 3 V2, and it is going to be the Dragonfly that you sent. So yes, I did get it and I am excited. Thank you guys for letting me know. I don't know how the hell I clicked on it. I must have, I don't know. Thank you guys. So material type, I just went with PETG. It was black ceramic PETG, and it was gray polylite PETG, yeah. Did you, oh, this is a, whoa, okay. I don't know if this is better or worse. Did you guys, this is a completely different power supply. This says Delta Electronics Inc. and it looks much fancier, but the previous Prusa Mini came with, I believe it was a Meanwell. It definitely wasn't this, it was a full square brick. So I don't know at what point they changed their power supplies, but that's a thing. Yeah, did you do, I think, G-Funny, you did, I can't remember if you did a Prusa Mini clone or not. I know that Speedy printed his in ABS and had a bunch of issues with tolerances, and so he reprinted it in PETG. Okay, moment of truth, we turn it on. I would be shocked if it didn't work, but we'll see. Yes. Sensor height is set from the factory. No need to adjust it now. Optimal height is 0.1% sensor. Okay. Cool. So I guess we just go through the setup. That is really glary for you guys. There we go. We'll do it like that. Cool. Be aware that it comes with a 50-watt heater, not a 40. Oh, okay. Yeah. I think I remember you stating that. there shouldn't be any issues. I don't think there's gonna be any issues powering it though. Delta is a Chinese power supply. Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, I guess, I don't know when they made the transition, but Inappropriate saying his had that in January of 2021, so that must have been a long time ago transition. Okay, cool. Well, I guess there's no concern then. I wasn't expecting it. All right, so English, the wizard, welcome to the Mini. Original Prusa Mini, would you like to continue? Or setup wizard, yeah, let's do it. The status bar is at, sorry, it's hard to read upside down. The status bar is at the bottom of the screen. It contains information about nozzle temp, heated bed temp, printing speed, z-axis height, and selected filament. Again, like it's really cool to have this stuff for someone that is, new to 3D printing. Press next to run the self-test, which checks for potential issues related to the assembly. Okay, fan test. Delta makes the MacBook Pro chargers. Oh wow, I did not know that. Oh, sick. Yeah, I mean, not that you can't do it in ABS if that's what you really want to do for, with heat resistance or whatever the reasoning is. I would not print all the parts before getting the hardware. I would get, I'm moving this, sorry. I would get the hardware and print out maybe one part and just test fit a couple of things to make sure that tolerances seem okay, because I think that you're gonna have to have some kind of a scale factor if you go with ABS, just because it wasn't designed for it. And again, Speedy said he had issues with it, and apparently they were bad enough that he, went ahead and completely reprinted everything. So, okay, checking the axes. It's cool that they gave you extra. I wish that. Part of me wishes now I hadn't rebuilt the other Prusa Mini until this one came, because this one came with a tube of that lubricant for the LM8 you use, and it would have been nice to reapply this to the Mini that I got off that guy that's probably a couple years old now. Oh, sorry. I didn't know you guys could hear the mic scratching. That is really loose. I didn't see anywhere in the manual that tells you to tighten the belts, but there's no way I'm running it like that. Unless I missed a step. Yeah, I don't see anything about belt tightening. These belts, I don't know how well you guys can see this, but like those are insanely loose belts. Like there's no way. I've definitely got to tighten the screws on the front. You guys got me self-conscious about the mic. The mic, like it flips inward, and so I have to constantly flip it back outward. Eventually here I might get, because there's a input port on it, so maybe eventually I'll get a different like cantilever mic that won't be this big square thing here. So it'll plug into this, so it'll be in my pocket, and then I'll run that. Okay, now it's preparing heater testing. Yeah, I might need to add, I mean, there's definitely some, I'm probably gonna add a little bit of oil to the smooth rods. There's definitely some on here, like I can see the residue from it, but not a whole lot. Ooh, 100 Celsius, that's gonna take a little bit. What are the test files? I never got the flash drive that came with it, or like the files that came with it. I think there's like a Benchy, I think there's the dog. I don't know if there's anything else. Oh, it's done. I thought it was going to 100. All tests finished successfully. First layer to calibrate. Okay, so before we do any of that, I need to tighten, let's see, are these? Okay, so these are fine. The x-axis isn't really loose, but the y is brutally loose. Kind of feels like it's the bottom more than the top. Yeah, the bottom is super loose. Oh, that's kind of tight now. I think I'd rather have them a hair too tight than a hair too loose. Okay. Okay. Joe's talking with me on, oh, because today is the Prusa Live, right? I think it's the last one of the year. I saw this morning that I think they just announced it either this morning or last night maybe, and I was like, oh man, it's the exact same time as I'm doing this stream, so let's see. To calibrate with currently loaded filament, press next to load filament, press load. We don't have filament, so. PLA. Should we try the Prusa Mini? I've actually never printed with Prusa Mini. I think there's a roll coming. So the MK3S should be coming with a roll, and then I think also as part of the Black Friday thing, they have a roll of orange. Is it Pet G, I think, that came with it? So I'm excited to print with it. Yeah, let's see if there's enough of this sample to actually complete a print. We'll do this one. This one's really nice looking. Hopefully I can just let this kind of hang off the end because I might have screwed that up already. We'll see how that goes. I don't have a spool holder for sample filament. That's interesting. It's a tight fit. $50 gram. Another bot? Oh my god, that's like the same one I banned already. I don't know if I should be flattered or... Okay, let's see if it'll load. Yep, there we go. I'm flattered bot. Let's see. Hide user from this channel. I think I might need to purge a little bit more. It wasn't feeding in the first few. Is the color correct? No, let's try that again. There we go. There we go. Ah. My people too. Sorry about the scratching again. Yeah, it could be because it's Modbot, so they're like one of us. Okay, so we should be good to go. Color is correct. I'm actually gonna move the mic for a sec, guys. One sec. Let's put it more center, maybe. All right, now let's calibrate the distance. Oh, that's right. Let's sure. Next. One of us. I mean, that's as good as a reason as any, right? Cool, thanks, G Funny. It must be like, so I don't get nearly as many spammers, knock on wood, on the main channel, and it could be because YouTube has kind of gotten better at, moving this again. The YouTube has gotten better at catching them in comments, and it's harder for them to monitor live streams. I don't know. All right, let's see if I can do this. iRobot. Isn't iRobot, isn't that the Will Smith movie with the robots that take over? They're like built for assistance or something like that, and then they, one commits like a murder. That's a good movie. I haven't seen that movie in a long time. Did you already order the Prusa Mini kit for the clone kit that you're gonna be building? G Funny. All right, let's see. That is oh, that needs to go way closer. It is tough to see from this angle. Way too far. Wait, am I going the wrong way? It feels like I am. Yeah, I am absolutely going the wrong way. Classic, no. Wait, what is happening right now? That was a fail. We're definitely gonna have to run that again. So I was doing it the right way. It's a really slow increment of adjustment, probably by design, but it needed a lot of turns, which made me think that I was going the wrong way. Yeah, I'm gonna run it one more time completely just because I'm not happy with that. Let me get lower for the next one so I can kind of see it from the side. Definitely still way too far away. Okay, so let's remove this because that is just all bad. Try not to touch the PEI that much. Okay, do you want to repeat? Yes, I absolutely do. Clean steel sheet, done. Do you want to use the current values? No! No! Oh my God. Well, it shifted. It's all right, I know about what the value is at, so I can at least start there right away. It's like negative 1.5 roughly. All right, round two. I know. It shifted right when I was clicking. It went from use values to no. Oh man. So what you missed was on the first layer doing the Z offset, it looked like I was turning it the wrong way, so I panicked and started going the other direction, and then that ended up being the wrong direction. If it's already at negative 1.5, you need to adjust more than you need to adjust the pinda. Interesting. It was very close at negative 1.5, Thomas. Yeah, let me go back to that. No, you're probably right. It probably does need an adjustment. Yeah, because that's negative 1.5, and that's close to where I want to be at. I mean, that's probably right where I want to be at. If not, like 2 clicks. Let's see, with the smooth sheet on, I'm at -1 is highest to go. Then you'll have a little room on switching. Gotcha, so if I need to adjust it by that much, then the super pinda would need to go down basically, right? Like closer to the nozzle. I'll probably play with it after. I've yet figured out how to save different build plates in my Mini. Always have to readjust when switching between smooth and textured. Same. Hey Carl, how's it going? Can it be adjusted in Slicer? Like can you change the offset based off of, well, I guess that's kind of crappy having to do that actually. That's pretty good. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Do you want to repeat? No, I do not. Sweet, okay. Now let's print something. On the Mini, it's under set. Oh, they do have the option. So, settings, no filament sensor detected. Okay. Temperature, disable steppers, factory reset, hardware setup, steel sheets. Oh, sick. So these save the values, I'm assuming. Huh, that's cool. So it looks like you can do it, at least on the Mini. Let's plug in the flash drive and see what's on there. That looks correct. Yep, we are good. So there's the nut that you can print out. What else is there? Screw, nut, whistle, sheep, buddy, Prusa. Does it say how long? Tree frog. What do we want to print? What's something cool? I mean, a whistle's handy, even though I think I'll probably just end up annoying Aaron with it. The nut and screw. Buddy, I think, is the pup, right? I kind of want to print the dog, but... Oh. Not too bad, just got my Ender 3. Oh, sick. How do you like it so far? I was just talking about that. I think I've got one coming. I think it's still a couple of weeks out. Whistle time? Dude. Indeed it is, thankfully it's better than the V2. The flash drive will likely give errors at some point when it gives a watchdog reset errors because of the USB. Okay, good to know. Again, I think I'll be running Octoprint, so I won't be doing it. Let's do, Buddy's the pup, right? Let's do the dog. I think that's a fun one. Does it say how long it is, this print? Ooh, it's 2 hours? Yeah, I'll probably end up posting it again. So, for the next few videos, I'm brain farting on the name of this Voxelab printer that I got in. 1 second. It's like I think it's an Aquila, but it's a Voxelab Aquila, is it DX? One second. Okay, so it is the S2. Okay, so this is one of the things. Let's get this print started actually, and then, or like get it going to make sure it's okay, and then I'll show you guys. But it looks pretty crazy based off the specs, like they originally told me. The price is not what they told me. I mean, they said that they were sort of determining final price, but it's definitely steeper than the number I was originally given. It still probably needs to go a little bit closer. I'll probably end up adjusting the Super Pinda. I think for this model, it's gonna be fine. Like, I don't think it's going to shift, but yeah, it definitely needs to be closer still. Okay, so for upcoming live streams, one of the things we are going to be doing, let me see if I go to desktop view. Oh, you guys can't see me on that one. That's okay. So this is what I have. We're going to be unboxing and building this guy next week. It's the Aquila S2, and this one will be getting a full review on the main channel. It's kind of Voxel Labs not competition, but their, I guess, take on the Ender 3S1. Although I kind of feel that, I don't know that I'd call it a copy because it seems like this came out first. But yeah, it's interesting. So the things I find interesting are powder-coated PEI flex plate, which is awesome. Direct drive, which I don't really know what kind of extruder setup it has yet, but direct drive is usually a plus. This is one of the most interesting aspects of it to me, that it's an all-metal hot end. I don't know that I've actually seen, another company out of, like in this section of 3D printing, you know, sub $300, it has an all-metal hot end. So I'm very interested in that. So yeah, I thought it had automatic bed leveling, but it does not appear like it does. But yeah, it still seems pretty cool. So we're going to, let's see, go back side camera for a sec. So we're gonna be doing an unboxing and build of that next week. And then be sure to square your X gantry. So I need to square the X gantry on the other Prusa Mini, because I think that's the issue I'm running into right now, is that the X gantry is just not square. So I'm probably going to end up loosening the bolts and getting the machine square, or measuring, I guess. I can probably measure from bed to smooth rod and adjust it based off of that to get it at least closer. But yeah, I think that's the issue with the other one I have. So let me see. So yeah, we're doing that. And then the MK3S that I ordered should be coming in, so we'll build that. We're gonna build a Prusa Mini clone, which will be fun. That'll be a lot more involved than this. That'll probably be a couple streams. And then we are going to be building the Engravinator, which is the open source laser engraver. That'll be a stream. And then also the Ender 3S1. I've got like the next month and a half of streams sort of mapped out, which is kind of exciting. Lisa says how to stop printers shifting. You mean like shifted layers? The most common, I would say the most common issues with shifted layers are belts being too loose or belts being too tight. Like, so definitely a belts issue, or the actual, the motor pulley, like make sure the set screws are nice and tight. It can also be an issue with motors getting too hot, or some kind of issue with the motor. And then it can also be speed related, just depending on machine, but I doubt you're probably doing anything crazy with speeds, but that can definitely cause it as well. But yeah, usually it's typically a hardware thing, but not always, but that would be my first check. Hope my Mini turns up in January 22nd. Did yours ship yet, Carl, or no? I was saying earlier that the MK3S shipped probably a week and a half ago, and it made one stop and it hasn't moved since out of Europe. It's stuck. It says that there's delays. I don't think that, yeah, the first layer needed to be closer. We'll still run it because it's gonna look pretty, I'm sure, but it's not, it needs a little bit more work. Or motor power VREF, too low, too high. But typically, DJ, though, you would adjust that using the, through the potentiometers, right? I think that's what you're referencing to. I mean, I guess if it's got a digital pot and you can do it through firmware versus hardware, but I've rarely had that, issue. But yeah, it definitely could be that too. Belts is the easiest thing to check, definitely, Lisa. And that's, I'd say, one of the more common things. POTIs or potentiometer, or if you are /SPI firmware, yeah. So the reward system looks rad. I mean, I've been using things for probably the last year pretty heavily. I mean, I was using it, I think I started using it around the time I saw Joel talking about it, and then I've worked with them a lot through sponsors on the main channel, and I like things a lot. I do think that the new system they created is genius. Like, gamifying things is often a fantastic way to get people involved, and even badges alone are really cool to unlock achievements, like it's a, you know, like a video game or something like that. And the fact that you can actually win real things like filament and swag is genius, because, like, one, the swag is also sort of marketing for them, but people want it, and the filament is just cool. Like, you know, if you're printing cool things and people are liking what you're doing, like, help support people by giving them filament to print more, you know, making print more things. So I think it's genius. Like, honestly, I think that that was a really good call, and I'm sure that that's not going to hurt. I'm sure that's not going to hurt any interaction on their website. I've seen a lot of people already talking about it. I'm wondering if it's gonna stick down. It's definitely like wanting to warp a little bit. It's really pretty filament. This, what was this one called? This was the Galaxy Black. It was really nice looking. There were people points. Prusa Printers needs a rebrand before I can get behind it. It just sounds like a place for only Prusa stuff. Yeah, I'm wondering if they're actually going to rebrand. I know that they talked about it, but with the implementation of this whole like Prusa Printers reward system, like, it kind of seems like they're sticking with, you know, their original branding. They still could, and like, I guess I don't really care all that much whether they rebrand or not. Like, one, again, like I've primarily used things, like, it's been my source for model things, and like they've done a lot of updates too, but I can see for people that aren't in the Prusa ecosystem why, like, the name could be kind of like a like, it's a little bit of a I could see it being a little bit of a deterrent. And also, I just think it's also confusing for people that aren't necessarily in the, like, as involved in the community and stuff like that. You know, you see it and you're like, oh no, that's just Prusa printer stuff. And even like the fact that they have the G code, you know, for their specific machines available where you can download it, you don't even have to slice it, it's already sliced. Like, it's definitely geared with a flavor towards their machines, which makes sense. Like, I think that's, when they initially created it, that was sort of an element of their goal. My issue with Prusa is the cost. The partial build is a Creality kit and costs 50 to 75 more. I think that that's the reason, like, I think that if, and I could be wrong, but I think that if Prusas were the same cost as Crealities, like, it would really hurt Creality. I think that most everyone would probably go with Prusas over, because I mean, granted, there's people that have just had bad experiences with Prusas, don't get me wrong, like any company, but yeah, I can understand that too. I mean, Lisa, like, I've been 3D printing since 2014, and this is the first Prusa that I've purchased. After I got the first Mini off the guy locally, like, don't get me wrong, I love it, and I will probably end up getting more of them because I do just want some printers that can be sort of a farm config that, like, ooh, this is such a, like, there's so much I can throw into this, but like, there's a certain element of supporting the printer, and like, Creality has had where there's like certain printers they create and they don't do really well, and they just kind of like drop them. And then that sucks for people that bought them. Like there's a certain element of like the longevity of the machine as well, where they typically create an upgrade path for you through the generations. You know, the MK2 became the MK2S, I believe, and then like the 2.5 or something like that. And so there's good with both. I absolutely understand why people want to buy the $180 Ender 3. And that's also a big reason why I cover a lot of it, is because a lot of people do want to save the money. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It just really depends on what you want. Like, if you don't want a mod, if you know, want certain things to just be easier, then like, you know, if you want some customizability and you are fine with doing the tweaking and the calibrating, like the low-cost Creality machines can print fantastic. I mean, I've seen prints come off of those machines that I'm like, if you told me it came off of a $10,000 machine, I'd believe it. It's just really personal preference. Hey, Pi's here. You are late, Pi. Better late than never. We'll probably go for a little bit longer. It's kind of more at the point now where it's like chill hangout for a bit while this is printing, but it's 2 hours left, so we definitely won't be completing. We definitely won't be completing the another bot. Get out of here. Get out, hide user. Good riddance. It's weird, on my little graph thing here, it shows that the concurrent viewers spiked to 40 for like a second. I wonder if it's related to the bot stuff. Get him out of here. Yeah, it's definitely a really nice filament. To start out with, you can't go wrong with an Ender 3, but that's when the addiction starts. Yeah, I think like the amount of people that I've seen go from an Ender 3 to like $1,000 or multi-$1,000 printer is insane. The Ender 3 is definitely like, or any, you know, similar type machine is like the gateway printer for sure that gets you into it. And granted, like there are some people that get a 3D printer, they just don't get it. But like if you are the type of person that, you know, can like see the potential, it's really easy to get sucked down the rabbit hole with 3D printing. Hey, what's up, local? Have you made any progress since last week with the Pi Zeros running Octoprint? Wish I had a closer cam for you guys so you can kind of like see the print in better detail. Step by step, we'll get there eventually. And I don't use gyroid infill very much, and I don't really know why. I think just I use grid primarily or lines just because of the fact that it's kind of what I've used for a really long time and it's familiar. But man, the gyroid infill looks really cool. I was planning on making a video where I just take a model, I don't know which model yet, and slice it and maybe even print it with each infill and kind of look at the different print times, because it can have an effect on print time. And if you're printing stuff like, sure, if you're printing stuff that's really functional, needs to have like optimal strength, that's the most important factor. But most of what we print isn't going into you know, an automobile, or isn't going to be supporting some crazy amount of load, and it's either just like a knick-knack or something small, you know, like even if it is functional. So I'm curious what the best infill is for just straight up speed. I'm not going quite that far, but I started with an Ender 3v2 and just got ordered a Voron 0.1 LDO kit. That's how it starts, man. And then you get the Voron 0.1 and all of a sudden you're like, I want to build a bigger one now. You'll see. It's the gateway for 3D printer addicts. It is. It's that when I am in a rabbit hole. I think so, DC. I've been in the rabbit hole for 7 years, man. If I figure out how to get out, I'll let you know, but it's not looking good. Prusa backs their printers and supports them, but for a beginner, they would need to spend the extra money to make sure it was mostly built. Yeah, it depends. My first printer was a fully assembled printer, but it was terrible. And it worked for maybe 10 prints or so. And then I had to completely transition it over to a new board and a new firmware, and the support was no help. And I gave up on printing for like 6 months when I first got into it. I was so frustrated. So it depends. Like if you, like, I don't know, their kits seem to be pretty hand-holdy. Well, I guess if you're talking about the Prusa Mini, I just built the Prusa Mini because I rebuilt the other one. So I basically went through Prusa's guides, and it's pretty damn good. It's very detailed. So I mean, I think that it depends on who you are. Like most people, yes, maybe a semi-assembled wouldn't be a bad idea just because there's so many other things to learn, but there are quite a few people I've talked to that went with a kit their first time and it taught them a ton. And I do think that if you were going to go with a full kit, something like this is a much better setup than what kits were like 5, 6, 7 years ago, like building something like the ANET. Installing them this weekend, nice. Nice, nice. I'm gonna be doing some Octo print stuff too. Both the minis are getting, this feels like a, I think they went with different aluminum than before too. The other one I have is like smoother anodizing. Both of the minis are getting Octo print with buck converters. So I'm gonna be working on that. Ender 3B2 to Prusa MK3S to Voron 2.4 to Voron 2.1 to the moon. That's all that's next is the moon. Let's see. The new lightning infill. Yeah, the lightning infill does look cool. I think it's primarily for speed, right? That's basically what it is. It's just to give you a little bit of a structure for the roof or for your bridging to happen, but it's not really intended for structural integrity, which is perfect for a lot of, a lot of what people are printing that I see at least. I got Ender 3 Pro, modded it, and within 2 months added Neptune 2S and a Voxlab Proxima. Yep, Lisa, I feel like Lisa, you jumped in right around the time you got the Ender 3 Pro, and then I've seen you kind of like come down the rabbit hole of this all. I went from a CR20 Pro 28 months ago to around 16. Oh my gosh, that's insane. I want a bigger print bed. Stefan has covered that in a video on his channel. The fastest are the rectilinear in grid. Oh, okay, gotcha. I thought that he had just covered strength. I didn't realize he'd covered speed as well. It's like, I don't even know if it's a whole DC, it's quicksand. Grid infill is fast if you combine it with every 2 layers and double the infill extrusion width. Interesting. I got a Pi 2.0. Yeah, I looked, I kind of goofed. So I think that I might have thrown away a Pi 2.0 and I might not have, but I just can't find it. Like when I made the Octoprint install video a couple weeks ago, I had it inside of that printed case, and then I since have printed about 8 or 9 more cases, and a couple of them were, they didn't have the snap fit. I had to scale it slightly. And so I chucked out a couple of the prototype cases, and I'm wondering if one of the ones I chucked out had the Pi 2.0 in it, which breaks my heart. I have 2 others that I had ordered, but I went to go order a few more just because like I have quite a few projects that need them, and they're completely sold out everywhere again, which sucks. Yeah, resin printing, another bot. Oh my god, it's got to be the channel name. Resin printing is awesome, Pi. The only thing is yeah, let's report this guy. Spam. The only thing is like the mess. The mess is kind of annoying. Excuse me. The mess and the odor, I suppose, but the mess is kind of more of it for me. The odor, I use primarily Ceratec's Fast for day-to-day printing, and it's pretty low odor. My biggest issue is just the mess. Like, constantly stocking IPA. I've tried other things, and like some of the other ones worked, but I didn't feel like quite as well per se. And so there's that, and then just the mess. Like, my workflow is like, I don't really have a good way to dispose of uncured resin, so I'll like take it out and have to harden it in the sun or something like that, so that way it's hard, you can actually just dispose of it regularly. So there's kind of a bit to it. Another, oh my God. But yeah, like, let's report again. But resin printing is absolutely awesome. As far as just quality, like high detailed prints, like some of the details you can get, you just could never get with an FDM printer. So there's definitely, like, that's why I like them a lot, but I certainly wouldn't ever want resin to replace my FDM printing, just because there's something about, you know, when the print's done, if there's no supports or like soluble stuff on it, you flex it and it's ready to rock and roll. And there's something that's just like so nice about that. Let's go full unbox, since we're just chilling. You guys can't really see the print that well anyway for the second. It's still in my way, but at least it's not like the Ender 7 in my way. Let's see. I went from a self-sourced i3 to a 3D Systems Cube 2 to a bunch of no-name Chinese printers to an Ender 3 to Ender 2. Wow, you've had a pretty MK3, 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 more Prusas and Resin. Yeah, you've had a pretty good journey as well. I think mine was DaVinci 1.0, Fulgertech i3 2020, which was my first bed slinger type printer. I learned so much on that printer. And then I had a Bob CNC 3D printer, which was an i3, similar like, you know, a kit, Prusa, but it was wood framed. I think it was laser cut, or maybe it was milled, I can't remember. Yeah, that, and then I think I went to a Delta printer. I think that my fourth printer was a Delta printer. I have to go back through the channel and look, but I'm pretty sure it was the G-Tech Delta printer that I never got working. It was just so bad, so bad. And then I think not too long after that was when I got the Anycubic, not the i3 Mega, what was it? The Anycubic had their Anycubic Hostile? I think that's what it was. And that was the first Delta printer that I actually got working. Well, it was only the second one I ever had, but it was I was able to get that one working. That one went from acrylic to extrusions, and it was just a way better machine in my opinion. And I had a lot of fun with that one actually. I'm having fun. Yeah, resin is super fun. I think when you report them, it does auto ban them, but I'm not entirely sure. I'm starting to hate the VHP tape for the panels of the 0.1. I'm not crazy about them either, to be honest with you. So I've tried both using X-Acto knives and scissors to like kind of make it look clean, and it just doesn't look that good to me. And it also is kind of a pain in the ass, like to have to put it on all the different parts. Everyone, holiday assignment while with friends and family, ask them to log in and sub so we can get over 1,000 subscribers. I would be stoked if we can get over to 1,000 subs. I mean, I've been really happy with the way the channel's been going, and it's been a lot of fun, but yeah, it would be, 1,000 is definitely the next big milestone for the channel. I don't mind VHP tape for mounting big things. Like, I think it's great for mounting the power supply and the Pi and all that stuff. But yeah, for the panels, I don't really like it either. I would much rather have it just not need that. Like, I don't know. I'm just not a huge fan of it. My 2.4 doors are coming loose with the VHP. Yep, my original Voron 0.1, every couple times I open it, the top hinge like slowly peels off. It's not been problematic to where it falls, but usually when I close it again, I just push it back into place, so. The DaVinci printers were really bad. I've worked on a few 3D printers, reseller shops, both sold them, but they were a pain. Yeah, they sucked. They sucked. I mean, the fact that they were fully enclosed and the price was right, like I'm glad I got into 3D printing because of it. And the only reason I got that one was that the guy that introduced me to 3D printing, who I wouldn't say necessarily introduced me to it, a guy locally had one that I saw, and I don't even know if it was open yet, but he explained to me what it was and it got me excited. And then I went home and researched it, and I bought the same one as him because of the price at the time. Like, most of the printers were over $1,000, and I think I got the DaVinci 1.0 for like $400 or $500, and it was like my Christmas present. I saved up and asked for a little bit of money for Christmas and saved up myself and bought it. And yeah, it was junk. I tried returning it. Newegg wouldn't take it back. It was under their like blacklisted items as far as returns go. And then their support was not very supportive. And so yeah, once I finally converted it to ripped out the main board, threw in a ramps board and flashed Repetier host firmware, and then swapped out their hot end to an E3D V6, probably a clone, I don't remember back then. Then it was really good for a while. But yeah, the stock machine, I did not have good luck with it. In my case, Prusa and Voron, contemplating Resin, I'm not sure with the mess. Yeah, that's a pretty good lineup. I still keep hoping that resin printing, so I've been wanting to make a ranty video on resin printing for a while about like things I would like to see, because I feel like a lot of resin printing is the same with just different sizes, small tweaks, and higher resolution panels. Like there's a Anycubic Mono X 6K here that I'm gonna be reviewing, which I'm excited for because I haven't really reviewed an Anycubic resin printer other than the Anycubic, it was the Anycubic, oh man, I'm brain farting. It was like their lowest tier one, which I didn't think gave me a good representation of like what their ecosystem of resin printers is like. But I have a list of things that like I would really like to see come to Resin 3D printers, but like it'd be so cool if there was a better all-contained version of it where like, I don't know how it would look. Like I think Joel reviewed a JG Aurora that had like a resin printer and the wash and cure like kind of in the same machine. And I'm not saying I necessarily want that, but like some way to just make it easier. I don't know if it's like a system where after a while it takes your IPA and like hits that with UV and then helps funnel out the gunk, like just some kind of cleaner workflow. I feel like the workflow for resin printing, yes, so it's the Photon, I think it was the Photon, so the original one that they had was like the Photon, and that was what made them really popular. Then they had the Photon S, but they have another one that I think is like the Photon Mini that I reviewed a long time ago. Man, I missed a lot of chat in my rant. Mainly cutting to size and getting the smaller layers peeling off as a paint. Yeah, I don't enjoy that at all. I found using an X-Acto knife helps to peel off the backing of the VHB tape, because otherwise it was a nightmare trying to do it with just my hands. There's still drill mounts and doors I have to do. Gotcha. Yeah, drilling's probably, I installed the mod hinges that you drill the door panels and bolt them on a couple of my larger Vorons. Love it. I'm sure that's a way better solution. I didn't use the Randall hinges of this wrap. He has some jigs that I use. Resin printing is almost only based on Chitu at the moment. Although more companies are developing their own platform, it's going in the right direction. Yeah, it's evolving. Like I looked on Kickstarter because I saw someone mention printers on Kickstarter, and I saw that there's a massive printer that I don't know if it's going to get funded because of where it's at on its, like goal where it needs to hit. But it is a massive printer, kind of like the Phenom, but it's running Mango OS, which apparently is Lychee's firmware. And they say the machine's fully open source, and I saw like it's all the hardware and stuff. And so I think that maybe Lychee's Mango OS might be open source. Don't quote me on that. I haven't looked into it at all. But then I was also told about a third like file type / board type that is more of open. So like one of my biggest gripes about Resin 3D printing currently is with the file formatting. Like there's the Chitu format, there's like each company has their own formatting. like, we need to get to a standard. Like 3D printing, you know, G code is what's used, and it's a universal, you know, like it's a language that's used by a lot of things, like lasers and CNCs and 3D printers. Like, it's not proprietary. So I think that proprietary file types for the technology is super, like, it's very crippling of the technology. And, you know, for larger industrial machines, I don't think it matters that much, because a lot of times people that are spending, you know, like $250,000 on a thing, like, they probably don't care whether it's open. Like, maybe some do, I don't know, but they probably more just care about like their experience with it, that it's easy to use. But that is one thing in resin printing that is heavily missing, is just its openness, which is what really helped FDM printing to propel forward, because everybody was able to throw their like herbs and spices into the pot and create, you know, what we have now. So yeah, that's, I again, like you just said, I think resin printing is heading in a better direction, but I think that's been one of the biggest hurdles for it. Tom started using lychee. Yeah, I am definitely going to be trying to push more towards lychee than Chitu after everything that's been going on. So how far along are we? We are 26%. I think we'll probably go for another maybe 10 minutes, and then I'll probably call it. We're getting over the 2.5 hour mark. And it's not going to finish, you know, it's going to take quite a bit longer. It's looking beautiful. It's looking really good. I wish that I had a cleaner close-up camera that you guys could see, but it looks really, really good. So I think that once this is done, I'm probably going to pull out the other Prusa Mini, maybe adjust the probes on them so that way they're a little bit closer, so I don't have to have such an offset. Take apart the XZ to try to get them as square as possible. Then rerun the calibration, make sure that they're both good, and then start working on wiring up the buck converter and the pies with Octoprint. That is like the full goal for, I don't know about today, but soon. Music's done. Let's do our 8-bit fun stuff. Yeah. Oh. What's everybody got going on for the holidays? I mean, this is the last official stream before Christmas and the holidays and stuff like that. I haven't said it in a little bit, but if you have not hit the like button, please hit the like button. It really, really helps support the channel and feeds the YouTube algorithm gods. I really appreciate it. Thank you, DC, for the promotion as well. Man, it's looking good. There's definitely a lot more than enough filament to print one dog, to print a small dog army. New resin printers using Chitu hardware can't even use lychee anymore. Yeah, it sucks. I'm hoping that lychee figures a way to get around it, because if Chitu is not full of BS, then they were supposed to have released an API or something like that where you were able to implement their new file formatting. And so if anyone can do it, I'm sure lychee can do it. So I'm really hoping that that's the case. It was just a bad move. It was a bad move on their end that I think that maybe they can bounce back from. I know at first I could use was Chitu box, but Box Lab is based off of Creality's board, so it's a... Oh, interesting. I didn't even know that the Boxel Lab was based off of Creality's board. Where did you find that out, Lisa? That's hilarious, DC. I didn't understand. I don't know if you spelt it as Cartman, like K-A-R-T, or if you spelt it like Cartman earlier, but I didn't get it until now. Maybe there was some delay in my mind. I just didn't put 2 and 2, but that is funny. Yes, I am Art Cartman. When I saw your comment, I actually was wondering if I had like used a different voice that sounded like Cartman, because I, in the past, have done random weird voices out of nowhere. But yeah, we've currently got 1 cart, 2 cart, 3 cart, 4 cart, 5 carts. And before we move next year, I plan on getting like 1 or 2 more, because they don't have, from what I saw, they don't have an IKEA in Idaho. And the only way I've seen to get stuff from IKEA there's like a middleman service that charges, I think, like 20% to import it to you or whatever. So I want to make sure I'm set on carts. Pie's heading to Montana with kids. Oh, that's right. You're taking off. Did you get your Voron 0.1 in, Pie? When are you taking off? I recently saw near unboxing the Whale 2. It looks like the resin printer doesn't have... It doesn't, I don't think it has a Chitu in it, but that company, I did a review of one of their printers some time ago, and at the time I think it was proprietary still. So don't quote me on it. Like that, the Whale 2 is like, it looks like their latest, you know, offering. So it's very possible that they went away from that. But when I was using it, I'm pretty damn sure I had to use their specific slicer. I hope that's not the case though, because I think that would give them some extra points, so that's not the case. Let's see, Thomas. Fun fact, all preloaded G-code are small enough to print with 1 of this. No kidding. Oh, you're saying, okay. You're not saying you can print all of the loaded G-code files with 1 roll. You're saying like, if you chose that one, it would have enough. Or if you chose that one, it would have enough. You're not saying that you can print each and every single one with the 1 strand, right? But either way, like, yes, I agree. There's been some, like, some of the G-code files are very big on the low-cost printers. I was looking it up after your video Saturday to see if there was any firmware updates. On the website states it's based on the quality board. Interesting. I wonder if that means it's gonna get the same kind of Hallett interface or not. If it does, that's pretty cool. Yep, all built and working great. Nice! That's awesome, man. You were quick on your Voron build. Quick question, what are the 4 holes for in the front door panel of the Voron Zero? Oh, those are for the magnets. So I actually don't think I liked that. That might be one of the things I'm not as crazy about. So basically, so you don't need VHB tape. Basically, yeah, so basically with the handle on the first one that I built, you needed VHB tape to get it to, like, you put the magnet in, then you put VHB tape on the door handle, and then you shove it onto the acrylic directly. On the LDO kit, I didn't use any VHB tape, and I just glued the magnets into the acrylic door and then glued it into the handle. So it gets rid of the need of VHB tape on the handle. The thing I didn't like about it was that it was probably more on my end, but the glue that I'm using that I like a lot, but it has really high viscosity. High means thinner, I believe. And so it's, or maybe low. It's very runny. And so that was the issue, was that I got a little bit of glue on the acrylic, which sucked. And you don't run the risk of doing that if you go with the magnet to VHB route. But in hindsight, I probably should have, yeah, I don't know, just use thick glue if you're gonna go that route. Has Idaho succeeded from the Union? Oh man. No, just whichever you choose. Gotcha, okay. That's what I thought you meant. I was like, that seems like a stretch. I was gonna be excited. I was like, we're gonna print them all. To be fair, most of my qualities came with a spool of 200 grams of white sample filament. Really bad filament though. Yeah, it's pretty crappy. I I showed off a spool on Twitter the other day that was like a no-name brand. Where the hell did I put it? So it was a no-name brand of PLA, and it was one of the cleanest wound spools I've ever had. And I didn't notice it. Wait, this is not the camera for this. Let's see, let's do, I mean, it doesn't look as good now because I've used it, but so this spool was wound perfectly, and I was blown away, but there's no name, there's no sticker. Well, I lied. There's no brand, like I don't know where this came from. And then I went and printed with it on the Under 7, and it printed like hell. And so I was like, great, that's why they didn't put a name on it. They can wind the spool great, but the filament's terrible. And then I opened up a brand new spool of Polyterra, which is like one of my favorite just everyday filaments right now. And it also printed like hell. And that's when I realized that, nope, it's the Under 7. So, yeah, where was I going with that? Oh, I don't know if that filament's actually good or not. It was wound very, very nicely though. So whoever wound it, I mean, it was as nice as the most premium filament I've ever used. This stuff's also wound really nicely. I really like this blue. So I've had this filament for 3.5 years, I think. This is from, check it out. This is from Filament PM. Side, oh, yeah, there we go. I mean, it's not new anymore, so it's not, but this stuff is awesome. The reason why I haven't used it sooner is because it's on a big spool. Like, it's 1 kilogram, I think it's 1 kilogram. Yeah, it's 1 kilogram, but the spool is so wide that it doesn't fit on any of the like standard spool holders. And I could use like the tush where it's basically just the, bearings that you sit on top of and you can kind of move it around. But that's been the reason why I've held onto it for so long. But it's also really nice. Like, I mean, the color is just super silky, and it prints great. So I need to print some more with that stuff. I think originally too, I was trying to save it for a project because I thought the color was so nice. I didn't want to just kind of casually print with it because I'm weird like that. Oh, it's Sunlu? You can just tell by the shape of the spool, or like the actual injection molded plastic. I haven't purchased any Sunlu or used Sunlu before, so that maybe would be why it doesn't look familiar to me. Let's see. Mine is a solid acrylic panel. I think, DC, wait, your LDO kit came with a solid front panel? Mine definitely had what Thomas is talking about, where there was basically like four drilled out holes on, or not drilled out holes, but basically drilled out pockets on the front acrylic door. Interesting. Inappropriate. When you checked for the graph, when you said you were able to see it was off level, do you have it hooked up to Octoprint and just kind of did a bed visualizer? I'm sure there's a way where I could just have it hooked up and have it probe, read the value, have it go over, probe, and read the value. I just haven't done that. I don't know how to do it offhand. I was planning on using like an actual, like, either my digital calipers of sorts or my ruler and just like measuring the bottom of the smooth rod to see how far off the bed it was. Gotcha, from the label, okay. Well, now I know, thank you. Yeah, it was just printing really weird, but again, then I used the Polyterra and it did the exact same thing. So I was like, nope, not the filament, definitely the, oh yeah, I didn't use the stock, I went smoke panel. Oh, yeah, that's why then. Yeah, the stock one has these little pockets on it that I also was like, what are these for? But definitely for the magnets. And yeah, if you install them cleanly, it's nicer than the VHB tape on the handle, since the handle does get kind of moved a lot. But yeah, my biggest issue was with the runny, I don't even know where it's at anymore, that stuff I was using. The runny super glue it was really hard to contain it in just the pockets and not get like a little strand of it on the acrylic. We are at 40%. I think we're gonna kill the stream. I think the visualizer looked like a cliff on a giant mountain. I think we're gonna end the stream, guys. Yeah, it's just, I'm excited that it was a pretty easy build. Granted, I think it would have been a lot quicker had I just sort of like winged it based off of what I knew from the other day of rebuilding the Mini, but going through the booklet itself, it's a really good booklet. I think the PDF is probably a bit better because the photos are kind of clearer, larger, they update it more often, and you can see comments from other users, but the manual is really good. It just is very thorough and sort of makes simple tasks seem a little bit more complex. But yeah, it seems like it's printing well, and I'm gonna be doing a video on probably the Prusa Mini. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do it on like the Prusa experience where I kind of grouped the MK3S into it, but because I've been using the other Mini so much and now this one, and they're gonna be double team printing some things, I'm planning on doing a video on just kind of my thoughts on the sort of things that aren't really covered or not easily seen when you're just looking at the product page and in the dollar amount. So yeah, this was fun. I'm glad we got this built. Again, next week we're gonna be building that voxel lab, which should be really fun. I'm just curious to see what kind of direct drive extruder it has, as well as the fact that it has an all metal hot end. We'll definitely have to throw some more advanced materials on it. I don't know. Nylons will have to dry. I actually don't have very much pure nylon. Most of it is like carbon or glass fill, but we'll figure it out. Let's see, check out 3D Chaos Filament sometime. I think it's a newer filament company, but they have some interesting, unique colors. Are they US based, DC? Can you send me a link to them when you get a chance, just so I don't forget? I feel like I'll forget otherwise. But yeah, next week we'll build the voxel lab, and then I went over a couple of the other things we're gonna be doing, but I have a lot of stream plans. Like, we're at one stream a week, every Wednesday. I've got at least a month and a half of streams planned out, so, and then more that are constantly coming to my head. So it'll be fun. And yeah, I hope everybody has a great holiday, Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever other holiday you celebrate. I will be streaming next Wednesday, same time, so there's not gonna be any difference on my end as far as stream time goes, and I will post the link. Yeah, I hope everybody had fun, and thank you all as always for hanging out, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys hopefully next week. I will talk to you guys later, and yeah, I will post a photo of this in the live stream. I've been doing that every single week when the print finishes, but it's looking awesome, and this filament's gorgeous. Again, first time using Prusa Mini, and it has me excited to try the orange I got, and then I think whatever comes with the MK3S. So have a great weekend and Christmas and all those things, and I'll see you guys next week. All right, bye everybody.